In this episode, video, whatever it is, I'm going to go over what the IRS said regarding the stimulus checks. This is their latest update, updated with new information for seniors, retirees on April 1st, 2020. So this is an update as of April 1st. Even though originally it was put out on the 31st, they've updated it since then. And I did notice reading through it previously and reading through it now, how there are some tweaks. They say it's the senior stuff, but I see some stuff that looks different to me. I wasn't paying attention that closely ahead of time to go, how are they going to change this in the future? I would have assumed that they would have put out an addendum below so you could see the changes, which is normally what you do with law. Anyways, we'll get into the whole thing in this video, but before I get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul Vasquez, JD. That's how you'll find me on the YouTube. Remember, with a Z, B-A-Z-Q-E-Z, and a JD at the end for Juris Doctorate. I do have a law degree, although I'm not practicing law now. I do, I'm the president of Tax Lab, Pro Business Solutions, the co-founder in the Singularity Network, and inventor of the Hat Tack. How about that? Right there, little. But that's not why I wanted to talk to you guys today. I do want to get into the program here, the little update that the IRS put up. And I'll go ahead and put this up for you guys as we go. In fact, I can do a little screen recording here, and then I'll pop it up for you guys in the editing process. Okay, we're recording now. So this is the link, the same link you're going to find that you've been finding in my videos. At least I think the past one, with the link to the IRS, and they just once again updated it again. And let's just get into it. It says irs.gov, check irs.gov for the latest information. No action needed at this time by most people. So we're at the right spot. I don't know why they say, check here, because this is irs.gov. It says right at the top. Okay. March 30th, 2020, Washington. The Treasury Department and the Internal Revenue Service today announced that distributions of economic impact payments will begin in the next 3 weeks. Okay, so that's from the March 30th. It says that they're going to begin distribution in the next 3 weeks. Please put something down in the comments if you've actually received the money. We'll get into it all. I'm going to get to my reactions at the end. Stay tuned to the end when I really dig into some of this. Okay, but let's just stick on topic. Let's get through the text before I react to it too much. Okay. Will be distributed automatically with no action required for most people. However, some taxpayers who typically do not file returns will need to submit a simple tax return to receive the economic impact payment. Now, they were talking about putting up a portal which would allow individuals who do not need to submit a tax return just to put in their direct deposit information if they wanted to switch. Say if you normally get a 1099 SSR or a 1099 RR, the other one, we'll get into it. And I've had some people ask about regular Social Security income. I do not believe, unless you get that 1099 SSR, that it covers you. You may need to submit a return for 2018 or 2019. It's not too late to submit a 2018. It's not. You only get penalized, the penalty. So you have to file. The penalty is based on the amount you owe. So if you don't own anything, effectively there is no penalty, but most people are required to file. It's just you're not going to see a penalty from it unless you actually owe. They're happy to hold on to the money if they owe you, right? Oh boy, are they? Okay, I'm gonna stay on topic here. Who's eligible for the economic impact payment? Tax filers with adjusted gross income of up to $75,000 for individuals and up to $150,000 for married couples filing joint returns will receive the full payment. For filers with income above those amounts, the payment amount is reduced by $5. See, this is they didn't, I don't remember them spelling it out like this before, right? Before it was 5% if you're over that amount, right? This is, I swear this is new. This was not in the bill. Look in the bill. This was not in the bill. And this part looked even new as of even after the 30th. $5 for each $100 above the $7,500 and $150 threshold. Single filers with income exceeding $99,000 and $198,000 for joint filers with no children are not eligible. That no children there is curious because the 99 and the 198, that's all new. The bill which Congress passed and the president signed off on is not being executed according to the bill. You can say that they're taking some liberties on execution, but is this gone too far? I'm not supposed to comment on this section. I'll wait till the end. Wait till the end. But the eligible with no children are not eligible. So if you're making over that amount and you have children, it's not specifying where your thresholds lie, if you have thresholds at all. Interesting. Just the wireless speaker there. Don't worry about it. Social Security recipients and railroad retirees who are otherwise not required to file a tax return are also eligible and will not be required to file a return. Social Security recipients and railroad retirees. How they defined that previously was if you received the 1099 SSA or the railroad equivalent. Eligible taxpayers who filed tax returns for either 2019 or 2018 will automatically receive an economic impact payment of up to $120,000 for individuals. That's interesting. Now it's a up to, whereas before it was like 100. It was flat. Right now it's up to. And that does fly with this new $5 for each 100 off, right? And the cutoff, the new cutoff. And $2,400 for married couples and up to $500 for each qualifying child. If you want to know the stipulations for the qualifying children, I've already done a video on that. It doesn't seem that they've added more stipulations here as of yet. How will the IRS know where to send my payment? The vast majority of people do not need to take any action. The IRS will calculate and automatically send the economic impact payment. Ooh, that's almost a tongue twister. Economic impact payment. Little alliteration, right? To those eligible. For people who have already filed their 2019 tax returns, the IRS will use this information to calculate the payment amount. Remember that 2019 tax return is what the IRS will probably be using to calculate your tax liability for 2019, and will most likely be using that 2019 return to determine how much you're going to get out of what you're eligible for. Economic impact payment will be deposited directly into the same bank account reflected on the return filed. The IRS does not... Oh, this is... A statement, then a question. The IRS does not have my direct deposit information. What can I do? In the coming weeks, Treasury plans... Doesn't say the Treasury. Interesting. Treasury, like Bob, Anyway, plans to develop a web-based portal for individuals to provide their banking information to the IRS online, so that individuals can receive payments immediately as opposed to checks in the mail. Now, the IRS actually already has a portal online where you can check on how much you owe and also make payments. And I'll put the link to that as well. A web-based portal. Web-based portal. We've got a lot of alliteration in here. For individuals to provide their bank information to the IRS online, so that individuals can receive payments immediately as opposed to checks in the mail. Next, I am not typically required to file a tax return. Can I still receive payment? My payment? Yes, the IRS will use the information on the Form SSA 2099 or Form RRB 1099. I say 20 or 10? 1099. To generate economic impact payments to recipients of benefits reflected in the Form SSA 1099 or Form RRB 1099, who are not required to file a tax return and did not file a tax return for 2018 or 2019. This includes senior citizens, Social Security recipients, and railroad retirees who are not otherwise required to file a tax return. Oh boy. Since the IRS would not have information regarding any dependents for these people, each person would receive $1,200 per person without the additional amount for any dependents at this time. Interesting. So if you submit that, if you are receiving an SSA 1099 or RRB 1099, which is basically a railroad equivalent, then you may still want to file that return even though you don't have to if you have dependents, because that will trump it, right? It says who are not required to file a tax return and did not file. So if you are not required and did not file, then those are available to you. I have a tax filing obligation, but have not filed my tax return for 2018 or 2019. Can I still receive an economic impact payment? These last two I've had questions on in the comments. Yes, the IRS urges everyone with a tax filing obligation who has not yet filed a tax return for 2018 or 2019 to file as soon as they can to receive an economic impact payment. Taxpayers should include direct deposit banking information on the return. Interesting there. I know I'd feel a little, if I owed money and I put that on there, I'd be a little worried that they'd be taking money out. So that's a bit of a gamble. Man, if I was in that position where I thought I might owe more on a 2018 or 2019, and I haven't filed yet, if I think I'm going to owe more, right? It says obligations, but have not filed yet, right? It says yes, you'll get it, but the thing is the bill says it's going to offset any of those obligations. So if you think you're going to owe more than what you're getting back in that check, I don't know if I'd put my direct deposit information. I'd see if they send me a check or not. But, that's my own personal, if I was in your shoes, and not what you should do, because I really don't know your full situation. Let's be honest. Like, I don't know. I don't know you. Next, I need to file a tax return. How long are the economic impact payments available? For those concerned about visiting a tax professional or a local community organization in person to get help with a tax return, these economic impact payments will be available throughout the rest of 2020. And guess what? Tax Lab, the company I own, does tax return. And we're open. I mean, we're allowed to be open in the state of Virginia. I'm the only one in here. Normally, everyone else is doing stuff remotely, and we can do them remotely as well. Of course, with remote stuff, there's a lot more verification that we have to do because we can't verify you in person that you are who you say you are on the ID. There's tons of identity verification stuff. So, I mean, we can do it remotely, but, just be prepared for that. Where can I get more information? The IRS will post all key information on irs.gov/coronavirus as soon as it becomes available. IRS has reduced staff in many of its offices, but remains committed to helping eligible individuals receive their payment expeditiously. Check for updated information on irs.gov/coronavirus rather than calling IRS assistors, that's what it says, who are helping process the 2019 returns. So, yes. My thoughts is, number one, do not count your eggs before they hatch, as they say, or your chicks. Do not count your chicks before the eggs have hatched, right? Do not count the eggs before they hatch. That's sometimes you don't care if they hatch, right? But wait until the money's in the account before you get excited about that money. They've changed the business stuff day in and day out. Even though the bill has passed, those administering it seem to change it. And then, of course, if a bank is involved, they are adding additional criteria for their lending institution. So be aware, there are some tricky things I have seen from helping clients apply for these situations. Be patient and don't rely on it. As I would love to say, rely on it. Help is on the way. But I think now is the time to reflect just a bit about what all this is for, what all this is about. And in the end, governments, organizations, businesses, it's all groups of people in a way helping each other. And so that's what all this is about, is keeping a stable environment where we can trust and rely on each other. And maybe if the larger organizations, that can break down a little bit as we separate. But this is an opportunity for us. And I've talked to a few clients about this who have their whole life savings in the market, and they see it tank once in 2008, and now they see it tank even more. And they're questioning, where do I turn? How will this be? And back in the day, as they say, that's all we had was each other. There was no big government to come in and cut us checks. It was up to us, the community, to come together and be the support that we need. Now, yes, I know it's difficult to physically come together. We're not supposed to be doing that, but we can reach out to one another, hopefully like you might feel I'm doing here. Those in your community, your family, it's maybe a time to build up the trust that we have in each other by doing trustful acts. My shout out today goes to somebody who's been a fantastic supporter of the channel, and that's Malone Money Mindset. You can check his channel out in the description box. I'll put a link there. And Malone, if you share this episode on your social media and tag me in it, we'll give you a second shout out just for kicks. Save strong, my friends.